Season 2, Episode 11, courtesy of Brian. Do we want to talk about the box now, or do we want to build suspense on the box?
Let's build suspense.
Okay.
And Matt's also going to bring me another related to the box product as well. Once he gets done resetting it. So how's everybody doing this fine Tuesday afternoon?
Good. I did a dyno tune this morning.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Too good.
Uh-oh.
668.
All these cars have been making too much power. Mm-hmm. Except for the one person that showed up with crappy gas and didn't make a whole lot of power. Yeah,
and I say too good, not in like a bad way, but in like a... I hate people setting their expectations for how much power they're going to make based on cars that dyno really well.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We do this every day, and we see the ones that dyno really well. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, it's cooler today here in Florida. Come August, it's going to be 95 degrees, and the dyno number is going to be shit. Mm-hmm. But we know air conditions change performance. Mm-hmm. You can feel it when you're driving your car.
Yep.
So that's what it is.
Hashtag boost weather, as the kids say.
Yeah. Oh man, I need some boost weather in my truck. Haul ass down the road to up to the speed limit.
Did we get the trans back yet for that?
No, soon.
Soon.
Yeah.
Nice. I just got my truck back, for those that were wondering. So
dual exhaust now?
Dual exhaust.
Is it here today?
It's here.
Ooh, damn, Joe. How's it sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool.
I was going with the Stainless Works S-tube mufflers, but I had one already, and I ordered another, and the second one's like, it was a 3-week back order, and I was like, oh god, I'm not waiting 3 weeks for that. It's already been at the exhaust place for like 3 weeks, waiting on just like other stuff, and I ordered a pair of Borla XR1s instead.
And they work good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Should get the job done. Sounds good. Not too crazy loud.
So you've been making lots of horsepower. I've been working on all kinds of airflow and horsepower making goodies and all kinds of other stuff. Like, it feels like Tuning Tuesday was just a week ago.
Less than a week ago.
Less than a week ago, is what I mean. And it was a whole week ago.
Yeah, it's weird.
Had my son's 3rd birthday party on Saturday. Good. Good.
Nice.
He's a cute little guy.
I haven't seen him lately. He needs to come up.
He was here for the Thursday show.
Burnout box.
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
He was.
I wasn't here.
He was hidden.
Yeah, the other kids were taking care of him. He was in the waiting room or the conference room. So we still got to build some suspense here, but are we getting questions in?
Well, yeah. Why don't I go ahead and read some of the comments, because we were asking people to guess what they thought maybe was going to be dropping.
Okay.
So Gap Times is guessing a Gen 3 for 18 to 19 Mustangs.
That'd be nice if it fit inside that box.
Another person says it better be a Gen 3 for 18-19, otherwise he's going to be a sad panda if not. So I sent him a panda emoji.
Man, honey, I shrunk the Supercharger.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's guessing a 160 millimeter throttle body.
Close.
Let's see what else we have here. Come on, Twin 72 for GT500 trade-in program.
Trade-in program.
That came from Slab Shack.
Nice. We've got such good fans. They've got such good clues as to what's going on at VMP.
Let's see what else I have here. Someone says a 2-valve complete kit.
It's wishful thinking.
Is it a grenade with a pen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Eric says, okay, Justin Starkey, what's in the box?
What's in the box? All right, we got to tell everybody. So,
a new throttle body for Gen 3, and someone says Cobra Jet Mono.
So, we've actually been shipping these for a while, for a couple weeks now, but this is the digital Twin 69.
So what does digital mean?
Yes.
For inquiring minds.
So, I got tagged in a thread on Facebook over the weekend, and this guy had installed a Cobra Jet and a monoblade on his 1819 F-150, and he was like, yeah, just how do I wire it up? And everybody had to tell him it won't work, because in 2018, Ford switched to different electronics that are not compatible with previous years, and you have to run a really expensive converter box that doesn't work very well on larger throttle bodies. So, to Joe's point, digital means it comes with the right electronics for 1819, and there's no adapter box required. It's very smooth and linear. We did a bunch of testing on it. We got a bunch of them out there. I heard from several different tuners over the weekend, last weekend, that they tuned them. They worked good. The more throttle bodies we build, the more we learn. Don't make them too big, otherwise people have trouble tuning them. If you make them reasonably sized, everybody loves you.
Yeah, as long as you get those gains.
Yeah.
Sun Cactus came on, and he says, "Is it fur-lined VMP underpants?"
Oh my, Sincac. Only you, Rick. Now, I did hear this, questions about 1819 VMP Gen3s, and since this is the proper electronics for 1819, it could make its way on
Onto an 1819 GT.
Yeah, well, the VMP Supercharger, but we'll save that for later.
We have a number of things that are coming in. Let's see what I have here. Gap Time says, when is there a need to go from a 6 rib to an 8 or 10 rib setup, and what are the pros and cons?
I feel like there's not a clearly defined line there.
That's a good point.
It's blurred by, are you doing abrasive coatings or lack of coatings on pulleys? What type of tensioner are you running? How much belt travel do you have?
Yeah.
He says he's upgrading his 17 Roush with some VMP.
Well, we had a customer run 8s on a VMP Gen3 on 6 rib. But like Joe was saying, he did some sandblasting of the pulley and, some idlers and other stuff to get that to work.
Yeah, I'd say that's like a best possible case scenario for 6 rib.
Because
he says, he came back again, I'm sorry, and he says 17 Roush with a 67mm throttle body. Would the 69 you have there work on his setup?
So we do have a 69 for 15 to 17 as well. It uses different electronics. They start with an F on the part number, the Ford part number. And I'm just telling everybody this because I know once these get on the used market, people are going to call us and be like, my throttle body doesn't work. And we're going to have to figure out what year it's for. But the part number here tells us.
I think it's a JR for the 18 up and an FR for 15 to 17.
Yeah. But yeah, we do have a nice twin 69. However, it will not work with the Roush blower because the opening's not big enough. You need to be running a VMP blower.
Yeah, that and your electronics, you have to change the harness from the Roush connector to basically a stock style connector and run the extension harness over, and then you need to have it accounted for in the tune properly because the TPS data on the throttle body for 15 to 17 cars is completely different from the Roush / GT500 throttle body electronics.
Very different. And that goes into kind of another segue. Chris, can you grab me that other throttle body?
They were asking about when to go from 6 rib up. Larry Duran says 10 rib for the win.
This is a VMP Twin 69 for 05 to 14 GT500 and
Roush cars.
Coyote. Yeah, it would technically work good on Roush cars too if you ported the inlet elbow. But we are going to be revising, updating all the VMP Gen 3 Supercharger kits for Coyote, GT500, anything that comes with a VMP Gen 3 will get the special Twin 69 right in the package. So it's going to be kind of another special offering for Gen 3. And part of the idea there is that the Twin 69 stuff, anybody can tune it, honestly. It's Twin 67, Twin 69, sometimes not even a whole lot of
Anybody that knows what they're doing can.
Yeah.
I've seen people screw it up pretty bad.
Yeah. And internally here, they're very easy for us to tune.
Yeah.
But and Joe, a lot of what Joe's alluding to is people tuning 15, 17 with positive displacement superchargers. There's so many things that can go wrong in the cow that Joe gets questions. Hey, can you just send me a value file for your throttle body?
It's not that simple.
If we'd have to send you the whole tune because everything works that together that much. But if you have like a Roush car, a Roush base calibration for 15, 17, or an older Roush calibration, or older GT500, Twin 69 is very easy to tune if you already have the rest of the cow right.
1805 Boss would like to know, would you share any insight you have on upgrading the electrical system of a 13 Boss to a 16 volt system? I enjoy the show and thank you for sharing your hard-earned knowledge.
Well, let's touch on that real quick and then go back to the 8 rib, 10 rib stuff. That's generally race car stuff, no alternator. I mean, maybe he'll post why he wants to go 16 volt. Have you done any 16 volt stuff, Joe?
No, but just based on what a lot of the factory systems are rated for on a car, 16 volt shouldn't be an issue other than converting to like a 16 volt battery.
Yeah.
And then taking the alternator out of the equation unless you can find an alternator that charges at 16 volts instead of the standard like 15 to 12.
Once in a while you'll hear of 16 volt alternators to go with 16 volt batteries, but it's usually for race car stuff with no alternator, so they're trying to keep the voltage from sagging.
Sagging below 12 volts under load. And
yeah, because then you start, when you get below 12 volts, coils, injectors start acting weird, but as long as you got an alternator on a street car, you're generally running 14 volts all the time.
Unless it's a Cobra, and then like it's like 12 volts, 11.5 at watt on some of these cars. That's
a special case.
You're gonna go back and talk about ribs?
Yeah, so 8 and 10 rib. Was Larry Duran's car 8 or 10?
I think he's recently converted to 10 with the MFP crank support.
Okay,
Larry just chimed in. He said 10 rib for the win.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think anybody that runs the MFP needs a 10 rib.
I think it's a good idea. If you're going that far with the car, a 10 rib's a good idea. I tried making an 8 rib work on a car, but it needs 10 at the boost level it's at.
At this point, 8 rib is a real just low cost, low drama option if you need a little bit more, but 10 rib gets you not only more surface area, but the belt is a lot stronger with 10 ribs. Cross section is much bigger, and that's what GT500s come with at the factory. And once again, I need to update our website, but when you go to 10 rib on a Coyote, now you use all the VMP GT500 pulleys based on the inch numbering system.
Yep, that, and it's worth mentioning that as you go with more ribs, it tolerates less and less misalignment. So like 6 ribs, you can be pretty far out of alignment and still be okay.
Yeah.
8 ribs, it's kind of like I don't wiggle too much, and then 10 ribs, it's even less so.
And 8 rib, the belt stretches quite a bit, so stretch under load plus misalignment equals, as soon as you let off the throttle, that belt goes slack and it just kind of finds whatever home it wants to find.
Yep.
Justin Young is on the line. He says, whoop whoop, Tuning Tuesday.
Hey, Justin.
Awesome.
Lou B's commenting saying that he was planning on getting my Mustang but had to get a family car instead. Make it a badass family car is what I say.
Yeah.
Abdullah says, hello, how accurate math flow rate per pound per minute in calculating horsepower on NA Mustangs, and is it safe to shift over 7,500 RPMs for FBO NA Gen 1 Coyotes?
If you have the proper supporting mods to where your engine actually makes power over 7,500, I assume you do if you're, as they say, FBO. As long as the tune is patched with HP tuners.
Chucky shifts at 8. I like it.
Lock it all out. And then what was the other part of his question? Because I think part of it was about the above 7,500. And
7,500, yeah. Is it safe to shift over 7,500 RPMs for FBO NA Gen 1 Coyotes?
Yeah, I mean, as safe as you can call safe, just make sure you have oil pump gear, crank sprocket, or, I mean, you can, I shouldn't say roll the dice because there's a lot of guys that do it without having issues, but if you're going to do that religiously, give yourself a little insurance, do oil pump gear and crank sprocket on the car.
It's a good idea. Chucky's going to need that. The question is, does it get that first or does it
let go and then get it?
Jonathan Whitaker's on the line. He's saying Taco Tuesday has him feeling fat and lazy.
Hey, Jonathan.
So I'm going to tell him he should have brought tacos here today.
Oh, yeah.
Shame on you.
You missed out. We did Taco Tuesday.
Where'd you go for Taco Tuesday?
T-Flats.
Nobody said anything.
Oh, nice.
Is what?
No one said anything.
It's a given. It's Tuesday.
Ah.
The past 3 weeks, we've gone to get tacos.
Ah.
I think it might even be 4 weeks now.
Let's see here. A 12 GT500 with looks like 20,000 miles. Can you get 1,000 horsepower out of it?
Can you? I'm never going to say that you can't. How many times is kind of a different part of that story.
Yeah.
I think depending on your mods, just shot it up for whatever you want to call it dyno number wise.
Just ask Cletus.
Yeah, and then like pray. But I'd say if you want to do it reliably, rods and pistons. But is it possible? I think it's possible.
My GT500, it's so we've got one more video to put out on it, and then I think it needs cams, and we just need to go as far as we can on the stock engine.
I think that's the most logical next step with that car.
Yeah.
D-Man says, can you use an nGauge on normal Mustangs, or do you only sell it for the Roush things?
It depends on the platform. Some of these cars will support it with an nGauge, but some cars we won't. So let me know specifically what car you're looking to use it on, and I can let you know whether or not we can tune it with an nGauge.
And I mean, to add a little more detail, the nGauge costs more, so we try to keep it segregated to the platforms that have to have it. But if you want, I mean, that would be your call, Joe, in the tuning department. But if you want it for another application, just contact Joe, and we can get it worked out.
Chad Dowd says, howdy, y'all.
Hey, Chad.
Hola, Chad.
So I told Chad. Sorry, Carrie.
No, you're good.
Chad's really excited because I told him about something
about the things
that we're actually staring at right now, and he's really excited. So,
I bet.
I know what you're talking about.
Can't let the cat out of the bag yet. So, but he's finally got a built motor going in the car.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's about that time.
Yeah.
Melvin says, hey there, VMP team.
Hey.
Hola.
Hello. John wants to know, Wesley Johns wants to know, what do you charge for a dyno tune?
Good question.
So that's going to be eventually tiered, level 1, level 2, level 3, level X.
Yeah, can you get that into play?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right now, I think for non-event dyno tunes, we're doing $650, and then if you're out in an event, like us dragging the dyno out there, being available, mobile, and just kind of having to deal with all that, I think we're getting an extra $100 for a dyno tune at an event.
$750 for event dyno tune, because I something when we're out at a car show, it costs us a lot more to be there. We have to pay travel expenses, fuel. We have to pay the venue to be there, and our customers are already taking off work and they're already there and everything. So it's really kind of a convenience for everybody. And
well, minus us having to tote everything up there.
Yeah.
But it's if we're going up there, we kind of need to get a little bit more money out of a dyno tune for something.
We like doing that stuff. We just got to make sure that we cover our expenses to get up there and do it.
D-Man, who is asking about the nGauge, says he's got a 17 GT. He has an nGauge now, but it's LUN, so I need another one since it's encrypted. And Jonathan chimed in and said, that's a hike to bring y'all tacos. Maybe it'll be possible in the future.
Classic.
Yeah.
So
like he's alluding to, he needs to get another nGauge if he wants to continue to use it.
And if you get an nGauge from us, we can tune it, or any other HP Tuners tuner can do it. We don't lock our nGauges.
Do we ever make it up to the Pacific Northwest?
I think the closest we got was Sturgis a couple years ago.
Yeah. Now, if you know what, we've got 4 excellent tuners that do tuning all day long, and if you need a tune and you're in the Pacific Northwest, we will do a remote tune for you.
I'll send it via email, and it'll take significantly less time than driving over there.
Yeah.
Victor says, hi, Carrie, Joe, and Justin.
Hola.
How much longer before we see the Manifold Shootout Part 2? So we need to start.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about doing it as early as next week. There's so many permutations. They're going to send us a hand-ported manifold.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You going to do the Holly Sniper and all them other, the Edelbrock intake and stuff like that?
I guess we could, just to show how little power they make.
Yeah.
We were talking about doing one for trucks, too.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do the truck one too. I don't know. Everybody, tell us what you want to see, and if you want us to dyno like a Holly Sniper or an Edelbrock, send it to us. We'll do them side by side. They're just they're kind of pitiful.
Yeah, if there's something that you want, let us know, and we'll see what we can do to make it happen. Mad Max says, hello VMP, my dyno numbers were a blast. 822 to the wheel on 94 and boosting. He loves the Gen 3.
Awesome. Good to hear.
Oh, yeah. That's Max Andreev.
Cool.
What vehicle is he on?
It's a 1517 GT.
Congratulations.
It's a boy.
Oh, man.
Hey Joe, Alex says, hey Joe, going to data log the 17 Roush, throws the OBD 2 code, stuck rich with a solid check engine light. Hopefully we can get this situated. Thanks again.
For sure, buddy. Just get me a data log sent over and we can get you squared away.
Lots of questions coming in today, so
Nice.
bear with me 1 minute while I get them copied over.
Gotta work on my posture in this seat.
Yeah.
I'm like predisposed to like be doing this.
You know what? I do that a lot too. I think I need to try to stop doing that.
Rick
That's in the
says,
background.
Rick Height says, hey Justin, Joe, and Carrie, hope the cool weather holds for Fun Day Sunday.
Ooh.
Oh, is this Fun Day Sunday this week?
You better take your truck out racing.
Oh man.
You got those new tires here too, Joe.
I know. I got my old tires in the bed of the truck. I was gonna swap them out before I left work today.
Ponies and Smokies too.
Not me.
Oh, you're not?
That's him.
All right.
Justin's taking the torch on that one.
All right.
Carrying the torch. Me, the Justins.
And then for those that haven't met Mike or seen Mike, Mike will be out there running the dyno.
So yeah, as a reminder, we might as well throw it out there. Ponies and the Smokies is this weekend. VMP crew will be there, and there will be some install and dyno support.
Yeah.
So I know I've put it out there before, and I know we've had ads running and what have you, but if it's kind of last minute, if you want to get on the schedule, call our sales team right away, and that way they can see what the availability is and get you in. But that is this coming weekend, and we'll have the dyno there, and they can do some installs. So Gap Time says, I'm upgrading my 17 Roush with some VMP. He's excited.
Awesome.
Mike says, I've seen mixed results with the L&M intake cams. Are they worth it? Some sealed LB cars that should be making 1,000 to the rear can't break 900 with L&L.
L&L. I assume he means L&M.
I think he meant L&M, yep.
I think it really depends on how much you're looking to get out of the setup at the end of the day and how much you're willing to justify for that dollar amount to give you a specified delta in horsepower. So like if you're okay being at like 970 and for some reason you decide I need 1,000 and you want to put the L&M intake cams in or the L&M intake and exhaust match pair, I think it might be worth 30 horsepower at that level. I haven't seen the gains that some people have posted with the L&M intake and exhaust only cams. But that's not to say that they're not worth it. Some people would define 20, 30 horsepower as being worth it. Other people would say it's not worth it. I think if you're on a max effort setup, the comp blower cams or a custom cam makes more sense than the L&M intake only, L&M exhaust only.
You know, it's funny, the GT500 motor's been around for so long that I feel like, there's really good cam specs out there for them. But Coyote with variable cam and, some of the other things.
Some of the things you can do even in stock cams.
Yeah. And I mean, like at the end of the day, you want to get more flow through the motor. You want to change the intake and exhaust. The benefit to intake only is you're going to get no torque loss and pretty similar idle quality. As soon as you start to open up the exhaust, you create overlap, you lose fuel economy, you lose idle quality, you can lose torque. So there's a reason for it, I guess is what I'm saying, that they designed intake only cams.
Yeah, I think for the stuff that they promote them for, they make sense, but
right.
Max effort cars do a max effort cam.
Yeah. And I mean, Michael's will spec custom grinds too if you tell him what you're trying to do.
Zach wants to know, do you guys offer headers for the 18 Mustang GT?
Absolutely. And I did a video driving around with them too.
I was going to say, we did a video on that just not long ago. Robert says, thank you for another Tuning Tuesday. Always great content. Please, more GT500 update videos.
Yes, I know. GT500 stuff gets really good views.
Yeah, we were still working on that other one. We were just waiting for better weather and to tune some stuff in. So there's some more GT500 stuff that's going to be coming out. A 15 Roush Phase 2 with a 72 millimeter pulley and 5% ATI damper. 90 millimeter. He says, are you going to call the 18 to 19 G3 blower the G3?
Oh, man.
Sorry, that was
Oh,
kind of
good.
funny. Snowcone says, my GT500 is being tuned as you guys are live, so he's got butterflies waiting for it.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Eli says, what do you prefer, ceramic coating or wrap for turbo hot side parts? My hot side is mild steel, and I'm afraid wrapping it will cause cracking due to excessive heat.
I think cracking's more prominent on stainless setups where you get rapid heating, rapid cooling situations going. I thought mild was supposed to be pretty durable for cracks and stuff as long as you weren't trying to hang a turbo off it.
Yeah, and there's some interesting properties of stainless steel at high temperatures. Like mild expands and contracts less than stainless, but like technically 3/16 stainless is really strong at high temperatures, like when it's glowing red or on the verge of glowing red.
And by strong, does it mean, is it really hard or is it malleable?
Yeah,
Because like
both.
kind of like,
Yeah,
you can get good mixes of all things, but you go too far in one direction, it gets really hard and really brittle,
right.
or it gets too soft and it's malleable and starts getting too soft.
I mean, like, so my first turbo setup ever that I built when I was 18 or 19, it actually cracked the headers, and then I went and built them out of Weldells.
Yeah, so
afterwards.
were you using stock manifolds on the 3839 stuff?
Yeah, I was using stock manifolds, and I was using stainless.
Those manifolds are known to crack anyways,
Right.
just from the evaporator dripping on the manifold.
And I was using mild steel and MIG welding it before I learned to TIG weld. And I mean, like, I'd really have to see the header design to make a really intelligent decision, I guess. If you've got the turbo supported, though, you know what? Ceramic coat and then wrap so they don't rust.
I know that there's like mixed opinions on whether or not you should do that, but in my opinion, if it's a mild steel setup, I'd ceramic coat it just so it doesn't rust and look like crap.
Yeah.
But
I mean, hell, you can even use high temperature black paint.
Yeah.
Rick says he hopes to see you at the track, Joe.
Is that Cactus?
Rick Height.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. Depends on whether or not I go out to Fun Day Sunday. I might, but we'll see.
So Ken wants to know, what's the best tune for an 18 Mustang 10-speed, nGauge, or SET, and how much power could he anticipate with a cold air on 93 NX pipe?
I know. Joe's tune. Joe's tune. And you can get Joe's tune on an SET or an nGauge, or primarily do an SET for those. But
yeah, and for what it's worth, HP has more transmission parameters properly defined for 1819. So like, one could argue if you're doing a quote-unquote FBO setup and you want like all of it, HP makes a little bit more sense. But if you're just basic bolt-ons like cold air, long tube, stuff like that, the SET device will get the job done.
Ramon says he's got a 13 GT Roush, 69 pulley, E85, Gen 1 auto, made 728. Should I build a Gen 1 or just get a Gen 2 with OPGs and port Roush blower?
We get so many questions about this, and I feel like
we got this last week.
Beating a horse to death with saying
Yeah.
just do rods and pistons. But just do rods and pistons. Our Gen 2 long block's pretty strong stock, absolutely. to me, does it make sense to pull the motor out to put another stock motor back in? Absolutely not. I would do, as long as your current block and everything's still together, still happy, still fine, I'd pull the 1112 or Gen 1 engine out, do rods and pistons, put it back in. Maybe some head studs while you're there, have everything machined and balanced, and do a line hone with the ARP head studs and call it a day.
And the other thing is that the Gen 1 Roush blower, it's small. There's not a whole lot to pour it out in there. And like if you want to make some power, just trade that thing in on a VMP Gen3. We give you $750 for it, which I don't think you're gonna have trouble getting that much for it anywhere else.
Ramon says, awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
No problem, buddy.
Jose says, would you recommend a cold air on an 18 opposed to a stock air box? I've been having IAT problems with the car stalling on my PMOS.
Tricky. The 18 up cold air intake in stock form is very good. Generates a very good MAF signal. By that same token, the PMOS traditionally generates a very good MAF signal. If you can work on how the filter's isolated from engine bay heat, you'll probably be in a better situation than you currently are, but then still get the benefit of having the PMOS cold air intake. So, I mean, if you're willing to get creative with how you seal the air box or the lack of box to the hood liner and keep some good airflow coming into the box, but not like with too much velocity to where you start having problems with weird airflow across the MAF, then I'd say do that. But if you're having those problems, you've gotten with your tuner, you're not happy with the high IATs, then maybe putting the stock air box on is a better choice for you.
Lou, who commented earlier that he didn't get his Mustang at the family car instead, he says it's a Jeep.
Not too much support in comparison with Fords for that stuff.
Gonna swap it with a Hemi.
Hemi.
Are there still spots open at Ford Carlisle for dyno tuning? Planning on dropping to a 72mm and pump E85.
Absolutely.
Yep, call our support team.
Yeah, and Carlisle's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The plane flights on Sunday are actually pretty late, just the way it falls, so we'll be able to get some serious amount of stuff done Sunday if needed. Not that I like doing that, but we're going to be there anyways.
If you call our support team at 321-206-9369, they can get you on the schedule.
Yep.
Sweet.
My 13 GT with a VMP, can I upgrade the IAT with a brass one?
So when it comes to sensors, it's not really upgrading when you change to a different one. The brass IAT sensor is designed to have the same transfer function as the mass airflow sensor in a 1517 GT. And by transfer function in the MAF sensor, I mean the IAT that's built into the MAF, not the actual mass airflow sensor transfer function. You changing to that sensor really has no performance value for you, and it just adds another layer of complexity. Just stick with the stock IAT sensor and you should be fine.
As long as your intercooler pump doesn't fail and you don't burn the tip off.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that. It's bad.
Rashid says, hi there, long time.
Hola.
Hey.
Mad Max, oil pump gears video is coming. We need to finish a couple things on the website so that way they're available on the website. And that way we'll drop them both at the same time.
Exactly.
So the video's done. I just got to get the next version done, the next step, which is getting the website finalized. Is the 18 VMP blower going to... Oh, he repeated it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Are there any differences in keeping the IMRC or lockouts on the 18 manifold for 15 to 17s?
This is a point of contention with
I
Joe.
need to get my knife and just go to town.
No, Joe, it's not worth it.
So power-wise, peak power-wise, there's no difference having IMRCs versus not having IMRCs. Of my personal opinion, is that there's no disadvantage to keeping the IMRCs, so why ditch them?
Keep them. It's the logic. Yeah, the logic is meant to work.
Yeah, and like can you tune around it? Absolutely.
Absolutely, but you're literally fucking half the tables in the computer and telling them to ignore them when there's hardware there to use it.
Yeah. And so I guess what I'm getting at here is if you can use them, use them. If for whatever reason your tuner doesn't want to work with them, or you don't want to spend I think it's $70 on a harness for it, then all right, don't use them. But just know that I like using them.
And like this is along the lines of the throttle body stuff I was talking about earlier. Like our customers, VMP customers in particular, have very high standards as far as drivability and idle quality and stuff like that. And as soon as you start deleting shit, then you drop a notch there. And some people won't notice, they don't care. Oh, it goes fast when I floor it. Some tuners will tell you, yeah, it's whatever, don't worry about it. But it's just what we see from our customer base, and we try to meet their expectations. But you have to follow our advice if you want your expectations met.
Yeah.
Eric says it's getting warm in Michigan. He's ready to put his mods to work.
Awesome.
Curious, how warm is warm?
Michigan gets pretty warm. I want to say there's days up there when they're in the 90s, just like we are.
Oh yeah, I used to live in Michigan at one point, but I'm just curious this time of year how warm it is at this point.
They're probably mid-70s, lower 70s.
HP Revolution says, it's any way of eliminating the vibration on the one-piece drive shaft, aluminum or carbon fiber. I want one, but I'm scared about the vibration.
So that's another one of those things that's hit or miss based on manufacturer, and even sometimes you can get one from a manufacturer that doesn't vibrate and then go with the same manufacturer and get one that does vibrate. It doesn't seem to be any type of
rhyme or reason.
No, and like I think I was telling you a week or two ago about Dave's car. Like on the dyno, I had that thing up to 178 miles an hour, and it is smooth as glass.
Nice.
Probably one of the smoothest aftermarket drive shafts I've ever felt in the car on the dyno. But I think that one was a DSS, but we've had good success with other drive shafts as well. That's just citing a most recent example.
And it's one of those things, Ford put a two-piece in it because they couldn't get that log of a drive shaft to consistently balance out and not have weird harmonics with other driveline components. So, but if you drag race the car at higher power levels, the factory two-piece eventually twists and breaks.
So Eric came back and says 45 temperature-wise. 45.
Oh, okay, so not too bad. If it makes them feel any better, I think it was like, what, 56 here this morning?
Mustang says, have you tuned any GT350s with ported heads yet? This mod seems to be taking off recently. Companies like RGR, Frankenstein Engine Dynamics, and even his local shop in Nowhere, Wisconsin is doing it.
For what it's worth, the heads are ported from the factory on GT350s. They're factory CNC ported, so if we're talking about from that end, we've tuned a lot of GT350s with ported heads. But if you're talking about aftermarket ported heads, I don't think I've tuned a single GT350 with aftermarket ported heads.
No.
But also for what it's worth, from a mass airflow-based tuning standpoint, it doesn't matter whether or not the heads are ported.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as everything's done properly.
Your computer's going to pick up the airflow. You're going to flow more air. You're going to make more horsepower. The GT350 is a special animal. A lot of people don't want to supercharge them, including us. So I guess if you wanted to spend $3,000 to $4,000 on ported heads, you could port GT350 heads.
D-Man, who was asking earlier about the nGauge, he says it's a 17 GT. He has an nGauge now, but it's Lund, so he needs another one. IMRC, it's encrypted.
Right.
Okay.
Supreme Alpha Male wants to know, do you guys go to Fabulous Fords forever?
We don't. It's coming up soon, though, I heard.
HP Revolution says, question, I ordered my nGauge by Summit Racing, got a tune by Lund Racing. Can I get a tune by VMP?
You cannot. Once an nGauge has been tuned by Lund, it is married to Lund.
I didn't know they were doing that. I figured they were having you buy a London gauge rather than a Summit one.
Well, I think you can go one way, but not the other. I think if you have an HP nGauge, they can tune it with Lund software, but then once it's been tuned with Lund software, it cannot go back.
Firmware's been changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another story, but.
Yeah.
D-Man is talking about how he's buying his Gen 3 kit in May.
Awesome, thank you.
That's part of the reason he's been asking all the questions. And Jonathan says, we already discussed this. Intake manifold test part 2.
While we got a second here, is there anything else we want to discuss about these throttle bodies?
I think we're pretty good. I will say that we did get a bunch of little shorty adapter harnesses made up, just so when you install this on an 18 up, the factory harness isn't stretched, just looks a little cleaner. Yeah, a little 6-inch guy right here, because the deal clips in over here, and then you're good.
Nice.
I will say we have about 10, 13 minutes, 12 minutes now. We haven't mentioned it in a while. If you like this type of content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
And hit that bell for notifications.
And another thing is if you're a regular and you're on the show regularly, if you wouldn't mind taking the time, and if you're in different groups or forums or whatever, sharing the content so that other people know it's out there. Not everybody knows about us as much as we would like to think so.
Share it on your page, on your personal page. Share it to some groups. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even in different forums and such. So if we would appreciate it.
Ask us questions. We'll answer them.
HP Revolution says, what about a ported GT350 intake manifold on a 17 S550?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about as part of the manifold part 2.
Well, and the thing is, the GT350 manifold makes really good power already.
Victor says, I want to see the 18 truck intake ported.
That's going to be interesting, and I do have one of those here.
So you can get all that torque at 3,000 RPM.
Yeah.
Ryan says, what's the difference between the ignition curve and when you say the knock sensors are adding timing?
So I'm not sure what he's asking there, like the base borderline knock table, what you're calling out versus what the knock sensor is doing. Is that what he's trying to get at there?
It sounds like it. I mean, the knock sensor is a modifier to total timing based on real-time input from knock sensors.
Yeah. So if you look at the spark advance parameter, that's how much timing it's really running. It's not like spark advance plus or minus what the knock sensor is doing. You're looking at the value after the fact when you look at spark advance.
Knock sensor is the final adder to spark advance, and we graph them independently so we know how much of that spark calculation is coming from knock sensor and how much isn't. But it's just kind of two graphs on a data plot, and you should always be going up in RPM as you accelerate. So you've got RPM as always a curve. If it's going down as you accelerate, that's another problem.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what that would be. If it's going down as you accelerate, is that the clutch grabbing because it was slipping before?
That's your oil pump gear failing and your motor seizing up. About the only time I've seen that.
Yeah.
Ramon has a similar question to what was asked earlier. He says, think guys, 13 GT build, Gen 1 or get a Gen 2?
Gen 1's fine. Don't get all hippity. Uppity about Gen 2s. I mean, if you got a Gen 1 rods and pistons, boom, boom.
Slab Shack says you didn't miss anything at Texas 2K.
No.
I don't know. I have a couple friends that would disagree with you there that had a lot of fun.
We're coming out there next year, though. We're going to fill up the stacker with race vehicles and race.
It's going to be a good time.
Yep.
Larry Duran says, damn, now I'm going to have to change cams.
Wait. Does that mean the red car is going to be done? And by the red car, I mean the now black car.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, the carbon fiber car needs to go out there. I told Matt we'd take his car out there too.
1518?
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the most accurate way to describe it.
It's the 1518. Let's see here. Nutty says, have my tune update for my Gen 2R install on my 12 GT500. Is this safe to get on Watt to get some logs to send? It's a pretty standard setup, but I want to ask. I'm one with VMP care package. Pick Thursday.
Awesome.
Boom, boom, go. Go Watt.
As long as your pulley combination is safe for the fuel that you're using and you have a base tune from us, should you technically be okay to go Watt, you should technically be okay to go Watt. If we're at a point in the data logs where we're not comfortable with you going Watt, we usually make it a point to tell you, hey, don't go Watt on this. And for what it's worth, don't go watt without sending us a data log of that watt file. So like, if you're gonna go watt, at least data log it. Don't go watt 20 times. Never send us a watt log. Have an issue and then be like, yo, I thought I was good for watt. Yo, I thought you were gonna send logs.
Oh gosh, Joe, it sounds like you've had that happen before.
Strangely enough, not on a GT500. But there's been those guys that add 5 pounds of boost that are like, hey, my car's breaking up at watt now. Hey, did you gap your plugs?
Hey,
did you get a log of you going watt? Because I told you to get me a log of you going watt. Now you're telling me it's breaking up at watt, but I don't see a log.
It's breaking up. I think it's detonating.
Yeah.
Which...
usually those two are mutually exclusive.
Yeah. But the sparky spark, if the gap's too big and the boost too high, you don't get the sparky spark.
Your boost slides right through. You got to make sure it's tight enough to where your boost can't slide through.
Brian, can you make a graphic of that?
Boost slipping between the spark, because that's how it works.
Animated.
I'll dress up as a giant spark plug, Joe, and you can illustrate that.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
The tip will be over my head.
Larry Lewis
will not be over your head.
Oh, damn it!
You can't do that with me.
Larry Lewis came back and he says, "Say what?
You say what?
Say what?
What is your quest?"
Marcus says, does the Twin 69 for 7 to 12 Shelby GT500s work on a Gen 1 TVS?
If you have our elbow, it would actually fit. But you would need to have our elbow.
Stock M122 style elbow. No worky.
Yeah, because what'll actually, you'll put this up to the casting and you'll get some eyebrows right here. And if it's bad enough, it can actually keep the blade from opening. I'll have to try it on a stock elbow. I think it'll clear, but it's not going to be good for airflow.
We got a couple here too.
Yeah, we do. We do.
We have about 6 minutes left. I have a number of questions still, guys, so just an FYI.
Rapid fire.
Kyle says, can't wait to see VMP setup for the 18. The weight is killing me. Janssen says, good day. Snow is melting nicely up here in Saskatchewan. Any more thoughts towards a Transbrake for the 6R80? Everest, the IMS Launch Max? Thanks.
I think he means JMS Launch Max.
I just want to know
Transbrakes on 6R80s are fine.
I just want to know, does Johnson say eh a lot?
Eh?
Eh? Canadians often say eh.
It's very true.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, we good. That was the end of my comment on that. The JMS Transbrakes are... You'll get mixed opinions about them online, but at the end of the day, do they work? Yeah.
Brandon says, the 18 Mustang and F-150 are so similar. If supercharged, how close will the crank numbers be? F-150 with exhaust and supercharged is possible to achieve 680 to the rear on 93 or Mustang.
It's possible. I'd say the biggest difference between the F-150 and the Mustang engines and 18 up is going to be the firing order and the exhaust manifold. So like an 18 Mustang exhaust manifold technically flows more, makes more power than the 18 F-150 manifold. So a 18 Mustang has a leg up over the 18 F-150 in terms of what power it makes at the crank just because of the exhaust manifolds. And then...
Since we have 4 minutes left, I'm not going to take any more questions. We're going to try and get through the ones that we have. So
we're going to skip the comments and then just go to the questions. We'll get more questions on that way.
The motor was swapped in my 18 a month ago. Now getting a PO 300 at watt. Throttle is acting weird at times, not responsive in surges. I'm thinking ground problems. Do you agree?
Not necessarily. If you're only getting PO 300 at watt, I would first look at spark plug gap and spark plug condition, and then confirm that a crank relearn's been done on the car. And if both of those check out, then start doing compression test type stuff. That are checking data logs and making sure fuel trims aren't off 30% and stuff like that.
Any plans on tuning diesels in the future?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, could potentially get into small diesels and F-150s, but...
I feel like that's kind of like in the Lion King, where that's the beyond zone or whatever the hell they call it. And we don't go there. The land where the light doesn't touch. something like that.
There's people that are willing to do things with diesels that we're never going to do because it attracts too much attention of the federal government. So it's kind of like, yeah, why even bother?
We'll play over here in our own sandbox.
Yeah.
We're being asked about Autovlog's S150. What's the issue with it?
We'll tell you when it gets here. We'll give you the play-by-play. But
until it's here, we can't really troubleshoot it.
I can tell you it's got a bunch of cam codes, cam over advanced codes. So we kind of know.
We have a basic idea of probably what's wrong.
Yeah. But the good news is, I think it's going to be pretty easy to fix. But it is what it is when it gets here.
Yeah.
Are Ghost Cam SET tunes considered for the future?
Considered. It's going to be something I'm testing the end of this week.
Vacuum at 20 upon startup on an 18. I get a bit of smoke upon cold start. Any way to repair it?
Smoke on cold start on an 18? I mean, are your...
he says, and then he comes back and says, sorry, I have a Whipple with fuel system, FYI.
First place I would start was catch cans. If you don't have catch cans on the car already, it might be sucking up the... Isn't that the intent of the bubbler hose on GT500s and Roush cars on startup to evacuate oil out of the crankcase?
To keep it from like really collecting. Now the interesting thing on an 18-up Whipple, since it's an upside-down supercharger, it's actually going to collect on the roof and pool. Collect
in the rotors?
It could even pool in the ports because there's a lot of volume in there. And I mean, you could say the same thing would happen with like a Cobra Jet setup. But so I think if you start with catch cans, that should catch enough of the oil that you don't have enough that's pooling in the ports.
Yeah, and for whatever it's worth, don't put the catch cans on, and then the next startup, expect the oil at startup to go away. It's going to take some time to burn all the stuff that's already in the blower housing and in the intake manifold and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Are oil pump gears in a 12 GT500 okay?
Factory ones are all right. We very rarely see them fail.
Yeah, I think I've only seen it once or twice.
We've seen a lot of GT500s.
Then he says, hi guys, when should you change the supercharger belt on a Shelby GT500? It's a 2007 with 15,000 miles.
There's a pretty good, just test that you can do visually on a GT500 belt. Take the tensioner, loosen the belt, pull the belt off the upper pulley on the supercharger, flip the belt over and kind of pinch it where the ribs are facing up. If you see any visible cracks in the belt, it's time to replace it. And then if you don't see any visible cracks, put that thing back on there and let it ride.
They're pretty hardy. On my 12 with 82,000 miles, I just replaced the belt because I was starting to get some slippage at higher boost levels. But yeah, I mean, the factory belts, especially 15,000 miles, but you got the whole age thing going on, so not a bad idea to check like Joe said.
Especially if the hood's been up for car shows. Bake the belt one position at a time at every car show.
Joey wants to know, do you think the Gen 3 is too much for my 13? I'm going to be building the engine soon.
Not at all.
No.
88 millimeter pulley and pump gas.
Pulley it for what power you want to make and ride out.
We technically have 92 millimeter pulleys if you want to be really conservative, but I don't know that anybody gets those.
Can I use methanol without a tune for cooling purposes only?
Yeah, I mean, if all you're looking to do is use the methanol for cooling, you can.
Going back to the GT350 intake, so the 17 S550 with the GT350 intake manifold ported won't make more power?
Our porting guy is really happy with how the GT350 intake looks to begin with. And it's, I mean, to be honest, and you can look at his work, the injector boss area is the biggest restriction in the intakes, and they did a pretty good job with it, just the way they transitioned around the injector boss. So.
And I think that intake's made to be port matched on a head that's already ported factory.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think as cast, it's a pretty good intake manifold.
I mean, it's all black. It's really solid. Like, they're heavier than the GT intakes, and it just feels like a really quality piece. Like, Ford clearly had a supplier that spent a little more time with that.
With that said, I have 3 things I'd like to touch on before we leave today. Yep. First is, well, Eric says, tell Justin thank you for the help getting my ported intake figured out.
Great.
Nice.
Eric Turbush.
Okay,
I guess.
cool.
Nice.
Again, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Share, share, share. I cannot stress enough. The more eyes we get in front of it, the greater the audience. The better the audience, the more we can provide you with information like this. So if you like this content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
And if you're interested in getting tuned by us, go to our website, call us, purchase a tune, any of the above.
You can send me an email. I'll put you in the right direction. You can message me. If you message through Instant Messenger on Facebook, we can get you to the right people. I get DMs.
Or you could skip all those steps and just shoot it straight to sales support or shoot it to tuning.
Exactly. And the other thing is phone number. If somebody wants a phone number, 321-206-9369. That way we can make sure we get you to the right people. This weekend, Ponies in the Smokies. So if you are in the area and plan on going to Ponies in the Smokies and wanted to get tuned by us, wanted to get installs by us, wanted to get on our dyno, now's the time. Yeah, now's the time to hit us up and get on our schedule so that way we can make sure that we have time allotted for you when you're going to be there. And lastly, Justin, you want to do a recap of what we have up there on the desk for those that chimed in late?
VMP Digital Twin 69 for 1819, and not available yet, but coming soon, VMP Twin 69 will be featured on all VMP Gen3 Supercharger kits when you buy a complete Coyote or GT500 kit from us.
The information on that throttle body dropped on our blog today. I will do a follow-up post on our social media channels so that way you can read more information about it.
Sweet.
And with that said,
that's it.
Let's wrap it up.
And then,
Well, see you next time.
have a good week, guys.